Well there. Good morning, friends. 5:19 a.m. and we're about to get started. And we're going to do some mobility and some core work this morning. And I hope you're doing well this morning. I know I am. Um, but need to switch out one of the lights. Apparently it's broken. Um, yeah, and we're going to do some mobility work this morning. Thanks for dropping by and thanks for all the subs and for a great stream yesterday, actually. So I tried to stream yesterday at the end of the day to talk about the other 23 hours of my day. My headphones and microphone ran out of battery about 6 minutes in. I don't think anybody was actually watching, but um, I had switched off because I had these Bluetooth headphones on for the sound quality. And after they switched off, the browser didn't switch back because it was streaming from my laptop. It didn't pick up the internal microphone anymore. So it was kind of like a minute or two of me trying to set up my sound. And of course, there are more interesting things to watch than that, for sure. So that was yesterday. But for anyone who's watching today, my name is Toby. Hi, good morning. And I'm 40 years old. I train to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life, not only today, but also, um, you know, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, probably well into my my hundreds, or my 90s, I should say, like up to 100. I don't think I'll get a lot older than 90. But if I do, I would like to be able to do the things that I like to do on my own terms throughout my life. And how I'm planning to do that is by staying fit and healthy. So I mind how much I sleep, between 7 and 9 hours every night. I mind what and how much I eat, so I try to stay in shape and within a healthy weight range for myself. And I work on my strength, my conditioning, and my mobility. And this morning is a mobility day because yesterday we did quite some strength and some heavy lifting with kettlebells. If you were there, you've seen it. If not, drop by tomorrow because tomorrow is a clean and press day with kettlebells. So you'll see me and what I do when I do a workout, a strength and conditioning workout. Um, this is not about the way I look. This is all about the way I feel. I want to feel fit and competent, but any fitness journey is very personal, right? Everyone has different goals at different points in their lives for different reasons. Could be losing weight, could be looking a certain way, could be getting strong, could be building endurance, could be training for a specific sport, a combination of all four of those. And either one of those is completely fine. For me, it is about just feeling strong and competent for whatever life is going to throw my way. David, good morning. Oh, I have no answer to that question. I'm sorry. That is not something that I spend time thinking about. But thanks for asking. That's also um, quite early for me to be having such deep and profound thoughts, but I'll give it some thought maybe throughout the day. Is that something that's on your mind, friend? Um, and it's good to see you today. Thanks for dropping by and saying hi. Um, where was I? Oh yeah. So I would like to be able to do the things that I want to be doing throughout throughout my life. And in order to do that, I want to feel fit and competent. So I want to be able to book it across an airport, pick up my luggage if I go play with my children, whether it's on the floor or at a table or in an indoor or outdoor playground. There are many different activities that I would like to keep undertaking as well. Um, I also always need to remind myself that we're good just the way we are, and we've got to love ourselves before we can move on. Because whatever journey we're on, it's the person we are today who is going to get us to where we want to be tomorrow. And I think we sometimes forget that a bit of kindness to ourselves can go a long way. With myself, I aim for about 350 or 340 days of healthy eating and exercise and movement. And if I do more than that, that's great in a year. But if I reach that number, that's not 100%. There could be an off day, 1 or 2 off days in a month, and that should be completely fine because life is life, and as long as we stay on track and hold ourselves accountable for the ambitions and the goals we have, we don't have to be too hard on ourselves every day. In fact, we shouldn't be hard on ourselves at all, except when we make really big, grievous mistakes. But that being said, the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work, friends. So I'm going to turn on the timer, and we're going to get started with some mobility. And as we do the mobility and the core, we're going to talk a little bit. It is Thursday after all, so that means that another week has gone by. And I had an interesting workshop yesterday about the growth mindset. That's a topic that has fascinated me. Now I have to say, for about 15 years already, when I first encountered the book, written by a doctor named Carol Dweck from Stanford, where she explained that breathing, by the way, that we, throughout life, develop different kinds of mindsets, and those mindsets either help or hinder us in pursuing our goals and our ambitions. So, the fixed mindset is one that she describes as us being more or less believing that we are the way we are, and we can do the things we can do, and the things we cannot do, we cannot do. It's that simple. The growth mindset that takes the opposite point of view on that says, well, we might be the way we are, but there are many things that we can learn throughout life. We just need to enter into the process with a mindset that we can actually learn new things if we try. We can change. We have that flexibility. So here you have some interesting differences to approaching problems. Habibi, good morning. Habibi, I'm working on my mobility as a morning routine, as a workout. Thanks for dropping by. Little Lodge, night. That is night. Is it night where you're at? For me, it is 5:28 a.m. So it is the morning, but it is still dark outside, so I guess technically it would still be night. But I'll be to answer your question, and thanks for dropping by, both of you, and saying hi. I appreciate that. I am doing my morning mobility routine this morning, which includes some stretching, and we'll also be doing some light core work with the kettlebells you see behind me as we talk about life. I was just talking about a workshop I had yesterday about the growth mindset, and some insights that I gleaned from that, also reflecting back on my own life experience. So, I guess if you would apply that to, for example, my journey with kettlebells, with weight loss, with getting in shape at 40 years old, and with regaining my mobility, if I would have had a fixed mindset about my health and fitness, I might have not even begun the process of change. I might have just said, well, I'm not healthy, I'm quite overweight, this is the way it is, and it's not going to be any different. That would have been an option or a possibility. But instead, I figured, I know that there are ways to be healthier and fitter. So why don't I pursue a path that is going to maybe allow me to get healthier and fitter? Well, there's a couple of other considerations when it comes to the growth mindset and the behavior of learning new things and the skill of learning new things, right? There's, for example, the environment around you that you're part of. And by the environment, I don't just mean your house or your office or the outdoors, but also you can think about the people in your life. And the environment should be somewhat supportive to the new goal, new behavior, to the changes you're trying to make in your life. I may or may not be able to see, but I'm twisting my thumb outward from the top down for that little bit of extra mobility here. So, but you also need to have some sort of motivation or goal, right? A bigger goal is, why would I want to, in this case, why would I want to get healthy? Why would I want to get fit? Why would I want to be in shape? It's another one to just keep in mind. And there are different factors that'll help you despite having or not having the growth mindset. But if you have the growth mindset, there are different factors that are going to help or hinder you in pursuing and even achieving or attaining that goal. Another one is competence with what you're trying to learn. Like living healthy, staying in shape actually is a skill. It's a skill with sleeping, it's a skill with food and cooking, and it's a skill with working out, but it's also a skill with stress management, emotional regulation. So these are somewhat complex challenges, and very often, especially like when it comes to something like health and fitness. People are willing to do something small. People actually know that they want to get healthier or in better shape. It's usually not really up for debate. But what's harder to do is to understand where they have the environment, the structure, the architecture, where they have the support, and whether they have the skills and knowledge to actually drive the behaviors consistently over time. So the growth mindset basically says, if you want to learn something new, you probably can. That's a good starting point, because that means that you'll always be willing to give it a try, and even to push through adversity. But then there are a number of other factors in life, in your life, or in anyone's life in particular, that are either going to help or hinder them in accomplishing the goal. So bringing that back again to my, I'll say, first attempt to get fit and healthy in my 30s is that I didn't have the knowledge, and also I wasn't in an environment that actually allowed me to work on my health, fitness in the way I wanted to. I also maybe didn't have the bigger motivation, like I knew I wanted to lose some weight, but overall I thought I was quite okay. It's only until a couple of years after those first attempts that always started and stopped, because there were more parties to go to, more socializing to do, more snacks to eat, that I saw a picture of myself where I thought I actually looked unhealthy. And I think that picture triggered a number of thoughts in my own mind about how I saw myself and what I really looked like, or had started to look like. Because I always used to do a lot of sports before going off to study. And even during my 20s, I would exercise and train on and off, but if I did, usually get into pretty good shape pretty quickly. But now, so I have a future. Action. Evalis, good morning, my friend. I hope you're doing all right. Thanks for dropping by and saying hi. Matt Labib, thanks. I'm okay. I hope you're okay as well. You data coordinator. New York's finest. Thanks for dropping by and saying hi. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts, and I hope you're doing well where you are in the world. Let's see. And let's see. Evalis. Let's see. And Korea. Hey, Korea. Good morning. Thanks for dropping by and saying hi. I hope you're well. Just identity to logic with people who have fixed mindset. For me, I'm learning it's more well that they are encouraged. Reason with them. Yeah, that's right. And that is actually a very interesting insight. And thanks for Korea for sharing that. Right. I think what I'm reading, but correct me if I'm wrong, is that when it comes to talking to other people about making changes for their own benefit maybe in life, it's about meeting them where they are, and instead of explaining to them everything that you might know from your own experience and learning, is to encourage them to just do something or do whatever they've set out to do, and to help them with that. I think that's a great way to approach someone who setting a goal. And maybe when we see someone setting a goal, usually around New Year's, with everything we know, with everything I know about health and fitness, I always think, ooh, are you sure that's how you want to approach it? But I've never successfully explained to anyone everything I know and then seen them magically transform before my very eyes. Instead, more often than not, they find the explanation somewhat off-putting. But when you tell someone, hey, good for you, you go and tell me how it's going. Keep me in the loop. I'm cheering for you over here. And if you ever need any help, or if you want to need some encouragement, you know where to get it. And what I found is that does indeed work better for both of us in that conversation. But anyone who's willing to make a change and to give that a try, in essence, is displaying signs of a growth mindset. And I think one of the nice things about the growth mindset as well is that if you have a growth mindset, you might continue trying to learn and grow, even in the face of adversity, because I think that's the other pitfall of a fixed mindset is you might give something a try, but the moment it doesn't work, your first reaction is, see, I told you it wasn't going to work, I'm not cut out to do this, I can't do this. Well, anyone who's ever tried to lose weight and get in shape knows that that process is fraught with ups and downs. The growth mindset, on the other end of that spectrum, says, all right, I tried this, it didn't work. What did I learn, and what can I try or do differently to see if I can get to the result? And to keep trying. And remember those factors I talked about? Usually the attempt is unsuccessful because you don't have the skill or the knowledge or the support or the environment or the facilities, right? Or the level at which you're trying at. This is a prevalent one in the school system, right? If you were given a grade test, a math test, for example, way above the level that you're capable of, then to fail, is it because you're not good at math, or is it because the test was asking you to punch a bit too far above your ability? So it's important to just keep that in mind with trying and learning new things. Specifically, let's go back to health and fitness. You have a certain level of health and fitness at the moment. And if you want to make a change, you want to make a change at that level. Do something that pushes you a little bit out of the comfort zone, stretches your skill, your knowledge, maybe the architecture of your life slightly, but still within a limit of what you're capable of, right? So when I decided in April 2023 that now was the time that I was going to start getting back in shape, because my youngest son then was a year old, started sleeping better, right? I was doing body weight exercises and I started working out for 7 minutes, because 7 minutes was about the limit of where my health and condition was, and I could do a push-up maybe, and a squat, and maybe a lunge, but I wasn't that fit or healthy. And then 7 minutes became 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes became 15 minutes, etc., etc. And then I started to learn and understand more about health and fitness again, thanks to YouTube and online videos. And then I adapted my programs. I worked with different time intervals, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, doing all kinds of different exercises. And slowly but surely, I got into better and better shape, right? Then came the pull-ups, learning how to do more pull-ups. I ended up being able to do like 14 pull-ups consecutively, and programming that. And if you've seen my pull-up and push-up video that I published this week, right? I'm working on pull-ups and push-ups. Again, I stopped doing it when I suffered that slight herniation in the neck. But I built up that skill and capacity over time by learning the skills, by learning the knowledge, but also by looking at my environment when it came to health. What are we eating? What do we buy every week? What does the fridge look like? What is on the menu? I'm relearning a lot of things and experimenting and trying, and it hasn't been easy, but I've been consistent now for a year and a half, and I think the results are pretty good. I don't think I was probably as fit and a bit stronger in my 20s when I was doing judo 4 or 5 days a week. But generally, beyond that, I think there's a gap of 19 years in terms of how fit I am today versus how fit I was in all that time. Maybe about 6 years ago, when we got married, and I was at my lightest at the time. I weigh about 87 kilos now. I weighed 78 kilos at that time. I was really fit, because I was also able to deadlift like 100 kilos and things like that. And I was in the gym working specifically on strength fitness and also eating a very calorie restricted diet. But I don't think I was in as good a shape conditionally as I am today. And I think also today I have a better balance between mental fitness and physical fitness. So, there we have it, right? So yeah, long story short, I'd say the growth mindset works and is worth also just spending some time trying to understand and learn, and also see how it applies to your life. Learning new things is hard, but learning new things is the pathway to change and improvement. and progress in life. Even when life is pretty good, learning new things can be just plain old fun. Just keep that in mind and think about that. YouTube punk, hey, hello sir, good morning. I hope you're doing alright where you are in the world. And Alice, it's good to see you. So active, also in English on the chat. You keep it up. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate that. What work to rest ratio worked the best for you? What do you mean 14? What are we talking about 14? I'm missing something. Work to rest ratio, New York's finest. What exactly do you mean? You mean the interval 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, or 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off? I'll be very honest. It depends, in my estimation, or what I've understood on what we're trying to do. We're moving into the light core exercises. By the way, the mobility part is done. All kinds of intervals can work depending on what you're training, right? So if we're training strength, for example, lifting heavy, which I rarely do with the kettlebells, but if you do, you're looking at an intense bout of heavy lifting and then a longer rest interval, sometimes 3 to 5 minutes before you attempt it again. And that works really well to develop that strength and power and muscle mass that you're after. But if you're working on let's say, the ability of your body to quickly recover, right? So you're going to challenge it and then give it rest time. A different ratio obviously applies because you want less rest time, less recovery after exerting yourself. So you end up working with a ratio like 30 seconds of work, or 1 minute of work, 30 seconds of rest, or 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. So you're just telling your body, I'm not going to give you enough time to recover, and I want you to adapt to the stress I'm putting on you. And that's a different kind of goal. And then, of course, you have the overall endurance conditioning, where you might have a very long interval, say 5 or 10 minutes of steady state or continuous exertion, and then a short break, and then again. But there the point is, the break is just going to help you get the time in that you need, right? The endurance, the over an extended period of time. So different intervals serve different purposes. So I can't really say which one worked best for me. I think all intervals had different outcomes. I think the biggest difference for me at the time is that I didn't know what I just told you. And that's something I only learned this year when I did my certification to become a personal trainer. So I hope that answered your question somewhat. It was worth thinking about. Oh, 14 pull-ups. Yeah, I know. I was also quite impressed with myself because I'd never been able to do pull-ups properly. And I turned 39, 40, and there we were, doing them in great volume, right? So for the pull-ups also, to give you an example of intervals, I actually started doing every minutes on the minutes with kettlebells, and with the pull-ups, I also started doing 2 in a minute, and once I reached 2 every minute for 10 times, I started to try to do 3 every minute, and then rest. And then when I managed to do 3 every minute for 10 sets or 10 minutes, right? Retest again. And I think I got up to 4 or 5 right before I had my neck herniation. And I had to stop doing that. And then you also see how quickly some of those abilities and that kind of conditioning disappears if you're not able to keep stimulating your body on that adaptation. So now I'm back up to around 3 pull-ups, 6 push-ups on the minute. You know, we're doing fun stuff in that respect. I do 14 push-ups. That's actually quite a lot of push-ups to do consecutively, right? I mean, I think we all have personal numbers that we want to hit, and I think it's dangerous. And maybe I shouldn't have said 14 pull-ups. I think it's always dangerous to sorry, I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to do here. I'm going to do a wader walk. I'm going to be walking up and down for a little bit. But I think the number itself was not that important as much as just being able to put in the effort for 10, 20 minutes. It's a part of a sequence. I do 10 minutes of the imams of pull-ups. I do 10 minutes of the imams of push-ups. I do kettlebells. Now, and then the combination of that became 30 to 45 minute workouts. And I think if you go back to my January, February live streams, you'll see the thumbnails also. I was in pretty good shape because of that, right? But I was also minding my food because health and fitness is as much a skill of eating and cooking as it is of working out. You know, like the skill of eating. First of all, what do you know about food? An important one. Second, do you know and have time to prepare food? Third, do you have the ability to purchase food that is healthy? You know, so there are all kinds of different over a week. The purple one's 20 and the blue one's 12 kilos. So also there, if you start to break down, what it actually takes to really focus on health, it's not just working out, it's not just moving more, even though moving more and in varied ways at different levels of intensity throughout the day and throughout the week is the quickest pathway to general health and fitness. Just generally, we need to move more. We tend to forget that what we eat and how much we eat is one of the driving factors in weight management. But when we look at architecture, right, if you live in a food desert or you are squeezed for money every month, I am 100% convinced that it's very hard to buy good food, cook healthy food, and that is beyond your control. So there's not, there doesn't need to be any blame or guilt there. That is just a circumstance you find yourself in. It's not always possible and easy to do all the healthy things because of the society and the environment we have created currently for ourselves and others. And I think that's one we sometimes forget. It's not always within our span of control. I hope that was 10 seconds. So, and being understanding and kind in our hearts and generous to people, always, because we can never see what's going on in their life. And I think what Korea said about, not trying to explain, but just trying to encourage, I think is a very genuine and kind way to approach people in our life. I said, oh, you're very welcome, and thanks for dropping by, and I appreciate that. And I'm glad that you came here and wanted to have a little conversation and a little chat this morning. And Ival is YouTube punk. I mean, we're having a good time, right? And we're having a good conversation. And, different people use the internet for different things. I think it's inescapable. And I think Ival, as your train of thought hits the mark exactly. And yeah, final exercises, and we're going to be done for the day because we have another heavy day tomorrow. And I'm really looking forward to my cup of coffee. And I will also try to stream at the end of the day to talk about the other 23 hours, because that is a conversation that I would like to start having as well. But yeah, we're almost at the end of today's stream. I have one more exercise to do. We're going to be dragging the small weight crossbody, and then we're going to have to call it a day. And there we have it. All functional, 6:06 a.m. 41 minutes of work put in this morning. Nothing crazy, nothing hardcore, just a good, fun, relaxing morning mobility routine and a nice chat about something that was on my mind. The hardest part of fitness, so in part, cost an arm and a leg to eat clean with the cost of living in the UK. Yeah. I like convenience. Calories for me. Go get quick. Hey, interesting insights, and 100% agree. Everything there is on the mark for what I think and know and believe as well. And yeah, I also try to keep it simple, straightforward, and as natural as possible with food, because I think that's the way we were intended to eat. But the cost of living, exactly. I see it here as well. Ridiculous prices for most things, and also compounded by the lack of time pressure, I think, is a big one. If you're a single parent, or even if you have to work 2 jobs, or you have any other kind of stress factor in life, it's just incredibly hard to then find the time to specifically eat healthy. And eating healthy, and by healthy I don't mean salads, but just generally wholesome food that keeps you full for longer periods of time, or satisfied for longer periods of time, is more difficult, or it is very expensive. So yeah, we agree on that. And hey, look at that. We came to the end of this morning's session. Thank you all for dropping by, and again, thanks so much for being on the chat and being there for conversations. It's really becoming one of the, a highlight of my day to spend time with all of you this morning. So I really appreciate that. And I hope you're all doing well today. I hope you're going to keep doing well, whether it's the start of the day or the end of the day or the middle of the day for you. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee. For those of you who are new and just started to watch, my name's Toby. I'm 40 years old, and I train to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life. I do that by minding my sleep, 7 to 9 hours a day, my nutrition, my strength workouts, my conditioning workouts, and my mobility, as you just saw. If you want to check out what I've done on my channel, go ahead and even go there and subscribe, because if there's something in today for you, then maybe the channel might be of interest to you as well. This is about the way I feel, not about the way I look, and I appreciate everyone is on a different health and fitness journey, and wherever you are, I'd like to just have that conversation with you, and we can talk about my experiences or your experiences, and grow a bit smarter and a bit healthier together. We're good just the way we are, friends. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. Just remember, it is the person we are today who is going to get us to where we want to be tomorrow. And the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So I'm going to check those last messages, and I'm going to turn off the screen. Oh. Take care, friends, and have a good day.